in Hamilton, there is not a move afoot. It's been decided that there will be certain street names that will change as a consequence of that colonial history. And one of them is related to an Austrian adventurer who came to this country and made a bit of a name for himself, called Gustav von Tempsky. Joining us on the line is the Deputy Mayor of Hamilton, Geoff Taylor. Good morning to you.
G'day, Michael. How are you?
That's right, isn't it? Was it the Hamilton City Council that said you're going to change? Is it Von Tempsky Street? Is it in Hamilton East, isn't it? I'm starting to try to remember.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, it absolutely is. Von Tempsky Street. And we had that vote probably about 6 weeks ago.
And there was another place that was changed, a park, wasn't it?
There was a park. The park probably wasn't such an issue because it had never really been named at all. It was basically just referred to as a park. So I kind of didn't ditch over that one. But Von Tempsky Street, I certainly voted against and argued against.
Oh, so you voted against the Hamilton City Council changing the name of that street? Absolutely,
I did. We lost the vote 12-3.
Good God. Now, please explain to me why. I've actually looked up Gustav von Tempsky. I did a fair bit of research on him over the weekend. He certainly wasn't a war criminal, and he didn't appear to have anything other than a sort of an adventure past.
Yeah.
Why did Hamilton City Council decide that he should become essentially a non-person?
Yeah, well, exactly. As you say, I mean, he was an interesting character. He was an artist. He was a sort of part-time reporter. He was an adventurer. He was an incredibly potent warrior. And at times he could be a terrible brute, but he's not the only one. And he is woven into, the fabric of Hamilton's history. So there's a landowner in the area, a guy called Ian McMichaels, a pharmacist, who put up a proposal to change the name. And he went up and down Von Tempsky Street and talked to people about it. And so he put a proposal into the council, paid the $900, or whatever it is. I think it's around about $900. And so that sort of council then got into the whole process of consulting the people on the street. And I think, if I remember, it was about 28 people we contacted, and 10 came back, 7 supported changing the name, and 3 didn't. And it was all about cultural offence. That was the argument for it.
I'm assuming that Mr. McMichaels is a white person.
Yes, he is, yep.
So, given the fact that the Hamilton City Council wasn't approached by Maori, but by a white professional, where's the cultural offence?
Well, we had Tainui backing him as well, and we had a lot of Maori submissions to it. So, and they were full of offence, basically.
Why were they offended? What was the primary offence, or what had Von Tempsky done to them?
Absolutely, yeah. There was a report done by a guy, O'Malley, and you'll probably be familiar with it because it was in the news story, a historian. And in that in that report, he suggested that Von Tempsky had been involved in a situation where he burnt down a part of a village and people were killed. And
this is part of the Maori Wars, right?
Absolutely.
So when conflict's happening right throughout the country and wars happening and bad things happened, Von Tempsky did something that he's going to be punished for 160 years later.
Yeah, exactly. And so 12 people around the council table felt it was warranted, and 3 of us said no way. And I mean, to me, the argument was I back onto a park called Takuti Park, and Chief Takuti, it's named after him.
There's a villain. Yeah. There's a villain.
There's a terrible villain, and
there's a killer of innocent people.
Absolutely a killer of innocent people.
And
in
a
fact.
cannibal, I think, too, actually. I'm pretty sure his troops were involved in cannibalism as well. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, well, I've got a number of situations where he killed women and children.
Yep.
Another situation in Whakatane where he killed the mill owner, a French guy called Guérin, and then he got Guérin's wife executed by her own sister. Just for a bit of entertainment. So here's a character who we have a park named after right next to me, but there's absolutely no move to rename that park. And it's this whole hand-picking of selective atrocities that really gets me.
Yeah.
Some atrocities we suddenly focus on because they were the colonials.
Well, they were white colonials. Yeah, that's right.
They were white colonials, and yet it was a war. Terrible things happened all throughout it, as they do in wars.
And the attitudes. I mean, sorry, my training was as an historian, and can I tell you, Geoff, one of the things that you were first taught when you were first studying history was do not imbue the attitudes and psyches of you today into those times then, because people thought and acted and had completely different values from today.
Yeah, sounds sensible. Unfortunately, wokeism doesn't buy into that, does it?
No, it does not. Geoff, what was the reaction in Hamilton to this? Or did people just go, oh, ho-hum, it's just another incursion into wokeness, as you say?
I think they did. There was a reaction from a small group, and I think the rest were kind of like just a sort of population that's just being whipped again, to be honest. It was just like, oh, God, here we go again. Let's get on with our lives. Here we go again.
And I guess there's also for you, did you feel as if you were, I don't know, because I would imagine taking on Tainui as well, who would have put themselves and all the sort of white liberals of Hamilton.
Yep.
You personally must have been placed in a very difficult situation. You must have been made to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that keeps happening over and over again. There's a number of things going through this council, including a Maori strategy called Hippo Manawa Ora, which, in my view, is probably the first step towards co-governance, which we will be debating on the next month or so, and I will be voting against it. I'm sure I'll probably be feeling the same way, Michael. Yeah, there is that thing that you must be a racist. You obviously don't get it, if you hold these kind of strange old views.
No. Listen, I empathise. I'm your counterpart at the Otago Regional Council, and I have to be honest with you, mate. It's coming all through our councils by stealth, and it's brought by staff and by wokesters. And if you actually say no or that doesn't make sense, you're absolutely right. You're branded a racist and somebody who should be expunged from the public record.
Absolutely. And what worries me is there's a lot more coming. We've got more street names coming, Michael, as you're probably aware, and these aren't just small streets. Bryce Street is one of our main streets, and I imagine I haven't done a count, but there's probably about 60 businesses on it, maybe 50, 60 businesses on it.
Yeah.
And so now Tainui is actually saying they are planning to lodge a proposal for that name to be changed.
Yes, and Grey Street as well, I think, because that was named after Governor Grey.
Governor Grey, absolutely, and Grey Street would be even worse. Yeah.
All right. Listen, there are a lot of Grey Streets throughout New Zealand. Geoff, can I just say to you, on air, publicly, Godspeed to you. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. You're a good man doing something. So the very best of luck to you, and I hope you get re-elected with an overwhelming majority.
I'm standing for mayor, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, good on you. The best of luck to you, Geoff.